Do you find yourself searching through your fabric stash for the perfect coordinates? Do you strive to be more confident in your color combinations? If you answered yes or just love fabric, then a subscription to Goody's Color Club is for you. Goody's Bundle Club is a quarterly subscription program with carefully curated fabric bundles by me sent right to your doorstep. I handpick every fabric in each delivery with 12 half-yard pieces, which will only be available to Goody's Bundle Club members. In addition to an exclusive Stash Builder bundle, each delivery includes a booklet of information on the fabrics I have chosen, the fabric designer, additional fabric suggestions to use with the bundle, and quilt patterns that would be a perfect pairing with the fabric. Hi, my name is Gudrun from GE Designs. Welcome to my Tipsy Tuesday. Hi everybody, welcome to our show and thank you all for being here. We weren't live last week, so it feels like a long time. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, make sure you keep commenting throughout the show. We have a giveaway question at the end, so stay tuned, stick with us, and there's a chance to win a $25 gift card. Of course, if you're new around here, we're excited to see you, and so make sure you follow our page on Facebook, or if you're on YouTube, hit that red subscribe button and make sure you don't miss a show. We're here every week with some fun stuff, and today is no exceptions. We, of course, love it when you keep commenting throughout the show, ask some questions, tell everybody where you're tuning in from and what your name is. It's really fun to meet people. And then, of course, give us some hearts and thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. If you extra love what you're seeing, we love it when you share our show as well. We bring this to you live for free every single week. So, of course, the man behind the camera, behind all the buttons, is here today. Mr. HP. Say hi to Mr. HP.
Hi, everybody.
So happy to have him back. So happy to have him back. Yes, I got my sidekick back. So We have a great show for you today. We, of course, are going to continue on with our strip along. Finish it off for you with part 3 of our strip along. I've got a couple of tips for you, so stick around for that. And then, of course, I got beautiful fabrics to share with you as well. We start off, though, with our giveaway question from 2 weeks ago. Yes, we didn't have a live show last week, so there was no question. But our question for 2 weeks ago was, have you sewn with a partial seam method before? We were, of course, working on our strip twist blocks. And the winner, you got a winner? Mr. HP?
Drum roll, please.
Yes, who is our winner from 2 weeks ago, Tipsy Tuesday? Marcy ZP, congratulations. $25 gift card is yours. All you have to do is send us an email to help@gequaltoscience.com and you will get your card. So you can go shopping instantly. That's what we like. Marcy said, this is my second quilt to use a partial seam. Thanks for the great tips. Of course, if you have no idea what we are talking about as far as a strip along or strip twist, we started back, 3 weeks ago, and even before that, talking about it. You can always go back and watch our previous shows to see, get all those tips and get started now. You sure can. You can see there's links to all of our shows on our website under videos and Tipsy Tuesday, or you can, if you're a subscriber to our YouTube channel, easy to find everything there. I hope you all had a great weekend. It was a big weekend. Lots of events. Kentucky Derby. I did happen to catch the actual race. Sometimes I'm kind of watching in and out all day, and you have all these races, and then I missed the main one. But I did watch this one. And you watched too, right?
I did.
Right before your show. I got a hair ball or something.
Where's the water?
I think it's in there. I need a schlepper to go get my water. This is what happens on live shows, everybody. Something jumps in my throat. But yeah, I watched the Derby, and we always pick some favorites. Thank you. Gee. We always pick our favorites, and I happen to be pretty good at this. So I'm happy to say I did pick the horse that won was one of my picks. You're not too happy about that.
Well, it wasn't how you picked it.
No, but it was one of my picks.
It was your fourth.
We picked the fourth one just to be like the wild card. And that was my wild card. And
but my actual second place.
Okay. All right.
Come on now. Give me something.
All right. But we decided on the rules beforehand, though. Yeah. Okay. So. Winner. Anyways, the other great event, of course, happening Saturday was the coronation of the prince. No, not the prince. The king. And so I did watch bits and pieces of the coronation. I always think it's so kind of important and fun to at least witness some of those great moments in time, whether you agree with that or not, but it's just kind of cool to have been like a little bitty part of it, especially since we were just in London, seeing all these things. My favorite part was actually seeing the carriages or the coaches because we had just seen them. We went to visit the Buckingham Mews, which is the stables, and we had a whole tour, and this really awesome tour guide knew so much about them and explained all the different coaches, and they had the really old ones, and so that was really fun to see them because we had been talking about, I wonder which one, because it wasn't decided when we were there, which one the king and queen were going to ride in afterwards. And so the one they chose.
I was like, he gets in that one. He is really cool.
He's cool, yeah. So he actually chose to ride the gold one. But we took some pictures, right? Yeah. some close-ups of these. These are just works of art. It was a really fun tour. So this one, I think this is Queen Victoria's one. And they were all in the procession or after the coronation riding to the palace. This one was the Queen's favorite. And so I believe that Prince William and the kids were in that one. And they said that this one is the most updated. This has like even a stand for an iPad and stuff inside, and it's the most comfortable to ride because it has better suspension than the other ones. But here's the one, the gold one that the king rode in. I mean, this is, you called it the Pimpmobile.
That was the Pimpmobile.
Because it's all gold, but it is, older and it is very uncomfortable to ride in. You could see them kind of bouncing around because it was fun to have that tour beforehand and hearing all those details that, Queen Elizabeth, really, she didn't like riding in it because it was so uncomfortable, so she preferred the other one. But it was really interesting to see them bouncing around in there. The interesting thing on the tour was, to learn about how they got this thing out, because the doors on that building were not big enough to just to ride it out. They had to take it all apart and put it back together to get it out. That's crazy. The other ones were in kind of bigger doors, but this one, not where this one was, and it's bigger than all the other ones. Taller.
Pretty cool.
So that was fun to see and see that kind of happening, especially we were just there looking at them. Well, Johan got in on the action too. He wore his new pajamas. We got the matching pajamas, the grandsons from the Buckingham Palace gift shop. So he was ready to be the king's guard. We were practicing the walks, changing of the guards and all that stuff over Easter. So he was all decked out. And if you missed some of our social media posts leading up to the coronation, we were having so much fun counting down, and come to find out that we have a whole bunch of royalty at GE Designs. If you saw our day before the coronation, you may have seen this photo of our queen, one of our queens, Nancy. She is the junior pork queen of her county fair.
Get down, Nancy.
And we got another one. Julie is a pork queen as well, and then I believe June has a title, and so we got all the queens. Of course. I don't have any titles. Nope.
But you're the queen. You're the
but
queen.
But it's good. We are good at GE Designs. A good majority of the staff has a title. So
if you're the queen, then am I the king?
Oh, are you now?
I don't know.
We haven't had our coronation. Maybe we have to have our own coronation. There's an idea. That would be fun. That would be fun. But of course, this was all to kind of get people, I think it sparked that for me. I get more excited about our London Calling Block of the Month, Mystery Block of the Month. Of course, we can still reserve your kit for a little bit longer. If you want to secure $20 off of your fabric kit reservation, you can do that now. I'm so excited. Now you probably, if you watch some of the coronation, you'll see in this fabric, the backing fabric will make more sense to you because, of course, all of those things. We have Westminster Abbey right there where the coronation ceremony took place. Big Ben, and we have the carriage, the golden carriage. It's not quite exactly like it, but it's there. We have the scepter, we have the crown, and everything on there. So it was really fun to see how that all tied together. Love that. So moving on, Color Club shipped on Friday, and I see that a lot of you are receiving your packages, those of you that are subscribers. So just wanted to remind you to keep it quiet, let everybody be surprised by their package. I will reveal the color on Friday's show, so just hang tight, stay tuned for Friday's show. Now, There are spots still available if you want to join in and subscribe. There are spots available, and you will receive this month, if you subscribe anytime during the month of May, you will receive the May package. But also what happens after we ship is that if we have leftover packages from the previous month, which we did have a few of this gorgeous and very popular lilac pack, the beautiful lavenders, we do have some available in stock. So you can find those in the store now. That is a pack with all 5 half yards. But if you wanted to get some more, if you wanted to make a bigger quilt or anything, they are also available in 1 yards. So I'm excited to see. I already see that there's some happy people receiving their packages. You're loving this month's selection. It's a great one. They're always my favorite. I can't ever say which one is my absolute favorite because it changes all the time. And this one is very, very usable. I know that. Very usable. All right. We're experiencing some weird stream, but we're going to keep going. Keep going like nothing's happening, right? Yes. I did post my final Ava quilt, my final photo of my Ava quilt just today. So as some of you remember, I was chosen as being one of the influencers for the influencer tour of Seth Apter's brand new fabric line, first fabric line with Free Spirit. It's called Storyboard. And here's my finished quilt. You may have seen it on the set, a little bit earlier this month or late last month. But I did post my final quilt on both Instagram and Facebook. And so I want you to go check out the post because there is a giveaway. Free Spirit is giving away some fabric. So not the Storyboard fabric, but some other beautiful Free Spirit fabrics. And I think we will be doubling up on that and doing a prize from GE Designs as well. So go check it out either on Facebook or not YouTube, Instagram. And all you got to do is comment on it. You can tag a friend and like our post. Make sure you follow us as well, and then you're automatically entered. And the winner will be drawn. I said Friday, May 13th. May 13th is Saturday, so I did a little mistake there. So we'll just have the winner announced on Saturday. How about that? So check that out. I love that quilt. I love how the fabrics came together. So I used a Tim Holtz background fabric from one of his basic lines that we carry from Provisions. And then, of course, the Seth Apter storyboard fabric is coming later this year, a little bit later, but soon. I think it's August. And there is a pre-order available, so you can secure your bundle. It's been very popular, so you might want to hop in on that one sooner than later. So I'm excited about it. I put Cuddle on the back of it. It's so good. I love it so much. Any questions on that before we dive into our strip along? Love the fabrics. Awesome. I did not just make the Ava quilt. That's the one I posted. That's the one I kind of was my inspiration. As soon as I saw the fabric, that was what hit me right away that I wanted to make. But I did have more fabric. And you know me, I will use it up. If I love something, I will use it up. So I made some strip twist blocks for our strip along. So let's just dive right into our strip along. So the first I want to show you is, of course, our, can we bring up the schedule? So if you wanted to go back and watch any of these, the first part was posted on Tipsy Tuesday, April 18th. I can't read anymore. April 18th, and then the second part was April 25th. We took a break last week, and then today is part 3. And then next week, we will finish it off with a beautiful slideshow of all your awesome work. I know a lot of you, after doing part 1 and 2, because we finished all of our blocks, so if you're just doing the traditional strip twist, you went ahead and put it together because not really much to show you there. But let me give you just a few tips on the strip twist block. So, of course, they are all going to be the same size, so there's a very simple layout for the traditional original quilt. We just lay them out side by side. There are no seams to match, so you can really just play with the layout however you want. Now, these blocks are, you can do anything you want with it. You can add a sashing, like mine here are very similar. They're going to blend together, so which can be cool. You can have them blend together. If you would add a sashing, they're going to stand out. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these. I might just put them together because I sometimes like when things just kind of flow and you have a harder time seeing the definition of each block. Either that, or I might, if I find enough fabric, to make some more and use some of the lighter prints on the outside and dark on the inside and then alternate my blocks. I might do that too. But I was just going to make a table runner. I have a few more blocks to make, so I'm going to finish them up, all of them, and then lay this out. But if I was finishing this one up and I had my quilt laid out, depending on the size that you are making, I always lay it out first. I make sure to mix up my colors, mix up my blocks, and then I always take a picture of whether I'm laying it out on a design wall or on the floor or on a table. Make sure you take a picture of it on your smartphone and look at it at a smaller scale, because a smaller scale, you're going to see different things than you are seeing it right up close. So you're going to see kind of how the fabrics, the big prints get dispersed. You want to make sure bigger prints are dispersed evenly. You're going to see value where there's maybe some of the same color permeating in one area. You want to spread things out if you want a really scrappy one. Maybe you're not doing a scrappy one, so you maybe can do some kind of a secondary pattern by, kind of color blocking things. But once you have the photo taken, you look at it on a smaller scale, you could even switch the photo into black and white to see how the values, the darker values and the lighter values kind of mix and get dispersed around the quilt. Once you're happy with it, I always take a final picture of my layout to have as I'm sewing the blocks together. So how I sew the blocks together, I start with my rows, and this just makes sense to me. Let's see if I have all these in the same row. This is my top row, 6 blocks, which is the lap size. And so I always start with the top left block and I stack them up like this. And I make sure that they're just stacked right on top of each other. The good thing about the strip twist blocks, you can turn them any which way and it's not going to change anything. So then I make sure that my top left block, I either use a clip, this is my first row, and this is my first block. So I clip it on the left side so I know this is going to end up on the end. And sometimes I take another clip, I put it on the bottom block on the other side. So this is my top right. This is going to be my top left. So then as I take this stack to my sewing machine, I take the first block and the second block, and I flip the first block on top. I will feed that through my sewing machine. And then I take the next 2, this is block number 3 and 4, flip them on top, feed them through, and then the last 2, I do this, feed them through, then I go behind and clip from behind the next 2, and so these would be sewn together. So now I can pop these 2 right on top of these and feed that through the sewing machine, and then clip this last piece behind. At this point, I usually have a leader ender piece that I'm feed through the machine, so I can clip this last piece from behind, and now it's easy to put together because I know that this is going to be on the end on this side, and the other clipped block is going to be on the end on that side. So that's how I assemble my rows. I always take the blocks down for each row, and then once I'm done with that row, I put it back and I press it. I put it back up on my design wall where I took it from to make sure it's positioned right. I didn't turn the row or anything like that, because then I can always check to my phone on the last picture I took if everything is in order. And as I move through my rows, then I do 2 rows into 2s everywhere, 2s into 4s, and so on. That's how I assemble my quilt top. That's what makes sense to me. So You can do the same if you want to, or just work with however way works for you. But let's move on to version 2.0. So you can make the strip twist blocks just like I did, and from there decide, do you want to go ahead and do the 2.0, which is we're going to round the corners or do a little folded corner on all four corners of the block with a background fabric. So I am going to do that with my other version. So in the pattern, to do the folded corner method, I have just explained the traditional method, and it's all good. There's a few different variations you can do. So I'm just going to talk you through that first, and then I'm going to show you an alternate method if you want to try it. So folded corners, what you're going to start with, you have a lot of 2.5-inch squares that you're just going to do corners on your strip twist block. Traditionally, you would take the squares corner to corner on the back side of the fabric. You are going to draw a diagonal line corner to corner. And then you're going to place that on the corner of your block, like I did here. Place the four on the four corners so that the line is angled off of each corner. And so then we're going to stitch along that line. And when I do that, if I draw a line, I always have my seam land a little bit outside. Let me show you here really close up. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm kind of hugging the line with my needle on the outside. So on this side, because this is going to get trimmed off. So I just hug the line on the outside a little bit, because that really helps when you fold this over. It's going to help you have a straighter corner. So once you have stitched, you're going to trim this off, and you can do that with a ruler and a rotary cutter. Using a 1/4-inch line to line up with the seam and cut that off. If you are a seasoned quilter like me, I can pretty much eyeball my 1/4-inch seam, and I just cut it with scissors. And so you want to trim those off, and then you want to press them. For most of the blocks, we're pressing them away towards the triangles, but there's a little bit of an exception to that, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. So this is one version of doing the folded corners. So if you want to do that, you just follow the pattern explicitly. It has all the cutting for the squares and everything else. Now, if you want to try something different, if you haven't cut your squares yet, let me show you a different version. So this one involves my point trimmers. So the point trimmer, I'm using the 45-degree point trimmer on this one. And I have my block. And we are going to trim off the corners before we add on. So what this method does, it saves a little bit of fabric this way, because as you can see with the folded corner the other way, we are cutting this part off and discarding this piece of fabric. Right? So this gets discarded. In this case, you save a little bit of that background fabric, because we're going to trim off first. So I'm going to use my point trimmer, and I hope you can see this. So you will see that 90-degree corner here, and then the angle. So we're going to use the angle to trim the corner off. And there is a dotted line. I don't know if you can see it. I might have to put something white underneath to see it. So you'll see that there is a dotted line here. That's a 1/4 inch. This line, I'm going to align with a seam on the block. So I'm aligning that with, with that first seam on the block. And then the flat side of my trimmer is going to be even with the edge of the fabric, like this. And here, now I know I'm perfectly positioned. Just know that it's going to stick up a little bit from this top piece, but it's going to be even on this side. That's even on this right side. So then we're going to trim this part off here. So I'm going to do that with all four corners. If you are left-handed, you would turn it this way, So then you would have your top even with the top edge of the fabric. The dotted line is on the seam again, same place, but then you're just cutting this way. I'm not even going to show you because I'm horrible with my left hand. So, trimming that off. So now that you've done this, you can try it with one block if you want to try this method. What we're going to do here too is the triangles we're going to sew on are going to be oversized, which is actually good because sometimes when we sew these corners, when we do folded corners, even if we are super careful, we get a little wonky triangles on the corners. So in this case, what I did, I cut my squares. You want to cut them 3/4 inches larger than if you were doing just your regular folded corners. So these were at 2.5, so I cut mine at 3.25. And then I just cut them diagonally in half. So 3.25 larger squares, and then cut them in half. But from this point, now I have these oversized triangles that I'm going to sew on the cut edges. So you just align the cut edges. As you can see, they're going to stand out quite a bit on each side, and that's okay. You can eyeball it to be somewhat even. You can always just fold and make a crease and fold this edge to make a crease to kind of have a gauge as to where this is landing. And then we're going to sew these on the 4 corners like that. So you will need half the amount of squares because you would normally need 4 squares for one block, but you only need 2 because they're cut in half. So just know that too. If you're ever doing this method, 3/4 of an inch larger and then half the amount of squares. So now you sew them on. So just like here, I have one corner sewn on, and then we're just going to press them just like the other ones. So I have one that is sewn and pressed here, and you'll see that all of this is oversized. So now I can trim up my block and have really nice and straight corners. So you can do that with your Stripology XL or your Stripology squared ruler. I have my squared ruler here. So just we are lining it, of course, with the edges of the block, so that should not change at all. So it's just trimming it to the same size, but you'll see that the corners are oversized. So it just makes it so that you're going to have a really nice straight corners this way. You save a little bit of fabric, especially the background fabric with this method. But again, I always like to just give options. You don't have to do this method, but sometimes I love to do this because then I can end up with a really nice and straight block. And I don't have to worry so much about my pressing, don't have to worry so much about my seam allowance, so I can kind of do things a little bit quicker. So once we're at this stage, all that is left is our layout, final layout for the 2.0. Now I wanted to mention, I talk about this in the pattern, and I mentioned it earlier, that most of your blocks are going to be pressed outwards like here, but you want to press a few blocks towards the center. So where the background fabric is pressed towards the inside. And that is just for when we're laying things out, things are going to fit and nest really nicely. I think it's only 3 blocks for the crib size and 9 blocks for the lap size that you need to press opposite. So you could even just, take 3 of them and switch it and switch them over, or however you want to plan it out that way. In the layouts, where those blocks go, where those blocks that have the seams inside, they are marked with an X on the layout. So as far as the layout for the crib size, I'm making a crib size with these. And as you can see, in the pattern, I give you the background fabric, which is also in your center. So let's say you made some strip twist block and the center square does not match your background fabric. That does not matter at all. Just play with it. It doesn't matter. I chose a little bit lighter fabric than I used for the center, so It's totally cool because I just didn't have enough of this, which is just fine. So here we have the layout for the crib size. So we need some squares and rectangles cut from our background. And so we have that all here, and it's just a simple layout for the for the crib size. It's just going to be vertical rows, and then you sew them together and everything comes together. Just make sure there's those 3 blocks that are marked with an X, and that's the placement of the blocks that are pressed different. Then as far as the lap size, it's a little bit trickier assembly, not tricky at all really. We're putting the quilt together in 7 parts, so we have a center row, and then we have the 2 corners the same, 2 corners the same, and these 2 parts the same. So you would assemble each one first, and then you assemble it this row, and join the center row and add the borders, and then you're done. So that's our last part of our strip twist. Now I would love to answer any questions you have on any of these things or techniques. Can we do a table runner with this block? Of course, you can do anything you want. It's a great size for a table runner. You can do a skinny one for a small table or a dresser. You could do 2 blocks that is a little bit wider and just control the length. Do the point trimmer rulers come in different sizes? No, it's just the one size. So we have the trimmers, they come in a pack of 3. So we have the 60-degree, and then we have the 45, which is 90 with 2 45-inch corners, and then we have the 120. So they're all in one pack. And I use, especially I use the 60 and the 90-45 a lot, all the time. Do you ever change the picture to grayscale? Yes, I did talk about that earlier when I was talking about taking a photo. Turn it to black and white to see the value. If you are unsure of how the colors are being dispersed. That's a good way to see that. Not always necessary, but sometimes if you have a lot of bright fabrics, it's really nice to do that, to get a little calm. I missed the beginning. What's the quilt pattern to the right? Oh, I forgot to talk about them. This quilt pattern, I don't know, is this my right or my left? It's over my left shoulder. This is strip ribbons. It's a single pattern. And then over this way is my Saga quilt. And I wanted to keep it there. I've had it here. It is made out of the Dusk Fusion fabric bundle, and we just got it back in stock. So these beautiful, soft mauves and soft pinks and purples and plums. I love them. And a little bit of navy. Can you use the point trimmers for snowball blocks? Yes, exactly. Exactly the same. So they're not a certain size, but you have to know how much you're trimming off. So like for the strip twist blocks, I had that seam. It's a 2.5-inch seam, so I had that seam to line up to. You want to make sure you know what you're lining up for. All right, good tips. Any more questions? I think I love that so many of you are jumping on later because you saw the pictures and you just wanted to try it, and you're realizing how easy this block is and how much fun. It's really a fun block to make. So it has a lot of possibilities, and they're just kind of fun to keep making. And I wanted to mention, you know, the tip I gave you in part 2 of the strip along, where you can really chain piece the blocks. The same applies if you're doing 2.0. If you're doing 2.0 and you're doing the 4 corners, you can do the same thing. So you can do a few blocks at a time and just do one corner and feed them through, and then clip from the back and do the next corners. So do that same technique with the corners, folded corners. Yes, with the new corner method, always 3 1/4 instead of 2 1/2. So 3/4 larger, and then you cut in half, and you only need to cut half the amount of squares because you cut them in half. Make sense? Yes. So you save a bit of fabric, especially if you're doing the larger version. And of course, if you don't like the layouts for version 2.0, you can still round the corners and just lay them out straight. I would, if I'm sewing these just side by side, I would probably alternate the pressing just in, towards and then outwards, just so that it's easy to put together. You can put a little bit of sashing of that background fabric so they're all floating. And I've seen some really cool, innovative layouts already posted where you kind of went off and played with it, and I love seeing that. So I encourage you to just play with it. Those blocks, once they have the folded corners, they're kind of like little balls and they're flying in the air, so it's really fun. How do you wash a quilt with a Cuddle backing? Just like I wash every other quilt. Cold, wash it on cold. No, don't put any fabric softener. It's recommended for Cuddle, that's the only difference. And then dry it on low heat. No dryer sheet, you're good. Yeah, it washes up really nicely. What does the Drool Mousse call the G-Easy balls? They're called boulders. So chocolate boulders, I believe. Yes. They're not just regular malted milk balls. They're boulders because they're big. All right, great questions, everybody, whether it's about the strip along or not. What are the fabrics in the strip ribbons behind me? That was a Moda fabric line. I don't remember. It was last year, so I don't remember. But we always get similar ones. So it had just the blues and the taupe fabrics and then the gold fabrics. So all of it is from the bundles because you'll notice that the background is just scrappy. And the strips, the gold strips are also scrappy. So even though a pattern tells you it needs one fabric, you can always decide to make it scrappy. It's so much fun. Just have fun with it. So that's an idea to do something scrappy that normally isn't that scrappy. All right. Thank you for participating, Laura. Thank you for, I know, I always love these quilt-alongs. I love both of them, whether we're doing it in a day or doing them step by step, because we learn so much, and the feeling of community when we're all doing it together is really, really awesome. It's my favorite thing. So we are going to have our fourth part. A piece my quilt with cotton, can I still use Cuddle? Oh, of course. That's usually how I do things with Cuddle. I will have a cotton piece, just a piece quilt top. I will quilt it with batting and Cuddle on the back. And then I bind it usually just with cotton, but I showed you a really cool way if you wanted to try binding it with the Cuddle on last week's show. Make sure you check that out if you didn't, if you missed it. All right. No, last Tipsy Tuesday. Yeah, it was our show that we premiered. Yes. We didn't have a live show, but we had that tutorial. So check that out. So if we cut our background squares, 3 1/4, do we cut half the number of strips? It does depend on how many squares you get out of the strip. So I would start with half and then count your squares. Maybe you'll need one more. But yeah, you do save quite a bit of fabric. Is there a special Facebook group for the strip twist? No, just Gudrun's Quilt Crew, our group on Facebook. Everybody's sharing in that group. Really fun to see all of your quilts. So next week, we will have a big slideshow. So make sure you post your quilts. If you are not on Facebook but would like to share your quilt, send us an email to help@GEquiltDesigns with your photo, and we will include it in the slideshow next week. So, and we will include partial. Like if you only have your blocks done and want to just lay them out, we will include all of those in the slideshow, partial blocks and things like that. So we always do a slideshow early on, and then we do a slideshow later. All right, so Sherry's heading to London tomorrow. What is the one thing I shouldn't miss? Oh boy, there are so many things.
What's that little restaurant?
Oh, it's called, well, it's in Neil's Yard. So I loved all the little courtyards. So take the little side streets. You find these like really beautiful little courtyards. I think this one was called Neil's Yard. And there's another courtyard where there was a bunch of restaurants, King's Court or something like that.
Bring back some cookies from Harold.
Here it's. some shortbread cookies.
From here it's...
They didn't make it home. They didn't.
They didn't make it a day.
They were good. I would say, like, visit the little courtyards. Take a little off the beaten path.
Do everything.
Do everything. I really actually enjoyed the London Eye to really see an overview of the city. That was really beautiful. It's a great view of Westminster Palace and Big Ben and all of that. So I did enjoy the Eye. You can go see the crown jewels. Yeah. Tower of London. We went up the Tower Bridge. That was cool. Yeah, there's so many things. So many things. But don't forget, I always say, don't plan yourself too much. Like, give yourself spaces and moments to take in the unexpected, because that's really when the magic happens. Like when we wandered in and found that restaurant, and it was, honestly, I still think about that food. It was amazing. It was this Mediterranean restaurant. It only fit like 20 people around the bar, and they cooked there. It was amazing. Yeah. And we were just about to go get a slice of pizza and keep moving, and I'm so glad that we didn't. We're so glad that I walked in there and, like, let's try this. But that's how I like to travel. Don't overplan. Just have a general idea of some of the landmarks you want to see, and then leave yourself time for the unexpected. That's my suggestion everywhere. All right. Fabric. I've got some great fabrics for you today. Let's start with, I have some pre-orders. We have 3 new, very highly anticipated pre-orders just listed that I wanted to show you. This first one is called Tangent, and I really love this one because it's so cool with this colorway. Speaking of really controlled colorways, just these pinks and then grays and ivory. So darker grays, lighter grays, and then that ivory. It's really cool. All just geometric shapes, so nothing really very distinct. And I just love this. Very modern, very, very cool. So check out that one. And then we have Deco Glow 2 by Juicy Juice. So we had Deco Glow 1 last year. You may have remembered when we were doing the class packs, I made one of my Zoe's, the baby quilt, out of the first Deco Glow. It sold out so fast that we unfortunately didn't have, we sold out so fast. And then we couldn't get more because it sold out really fast at Andover. So now it is available. Similar designs, similar colors, but a little different. So it works well if you have Deco Glow 1. It all plays together. But beautiful, kind of like solid prints with just very geometric shapes. And of course, very bright, very bright. And then we have the next line from eBond coming, Ravel. And that is now available as a pre-order. The whole line in a bundle, just like we did with our previous 2. And can't wait for this one. And I'll actually be able to show you some more details on that one soon. Can't wait. I'm already planning. So then I have 2 lines to show you here. I have, they're both from Northcott, and they work together. You know me, I love it when I can put 2 different lines or more together, and they work just in harmony, and these 2 do. So I want to show you this one first. It's called Vitamin C, S-E-A, Vitamin C. And so it is Deborah Edwards and Melanie Samra. You've seen their designs multiple times. It's a favorite, edgy designs. It's a favorite among many, many, many quilters. So this one has the ocean theme, but beautiful layers of textures. And then the colors are just gorgeous. So we're starting off with some of the blues. So we have all the shells, the different shells, and then we have this print, which beautiful. So just these deep blues, teals, a little bit of greens is really the colorway. have this awesome marble print, and if you look at it on a bigger scale, it has some bigger cool things in it. So I love it when you have a pattern like this, and you can cut it and get different emphasis from each one. We have this beautiful shell print. This is like the scallop shells. I don't know what the shell is called, but I know inside there's delicious scallops. And I love this. It's a little bit of that kind of shell pattern, little directional. Then we have the coral, ocean kind of flora. And then the lightest, and I love that there's a little bit of a gradation from light to dark. We have this print, a little bit larger shell print in the lightest aqua blue. Bringing in the green tone, so we have this print again in more of the light greens with a deep green as well. We have the marble print. And so if you have, if you had Turtle Bay or any of their lines from before, you can see that all of these things just go really well together. We have the shells. Just the detailing is so beautiful. We have the marbles in the lighter green color. And we have the green corals and the seaweeds. This is like sea moss. Looks like sea moss. We love sea moss. Really good for you. And then the lightest one. So bringing in those beautiful off-whites with just that light green. I love that touch. So this is vitamin C. Isn't that gorgeous? So fabric pull for this, I wanted to just stay in the same color. So I'm going to start with the blues. And we're going to start with a deco stitch in the indigo sky. So a little bit indigo, has some of the lighter blues in there, but this will be your deepest values. We have like a medium one with a quartz in the navy. So it has the marbling in there too. And then we're going to go with some of the lighter blues tones. The Spectrastatic and the baby blue is really great with that one to bring out some of the light blues in here. Then we go into some of the more teal or aqua tones. We have the canvas, and the Bermuda is a great match with that. And then tying it into more of the greens. The darkest tone I would go with like a peacock, so the canvas and the peacock is perfect. Or if you still have any of the peacock color club, those would be great with this. We have the crisscross texture in the teal, which was part of our bundle club in January. And then two different ones in kind of the more turquoisey green, vintage texture in the turquoise. And then I love this one, the nature elements in the Caribbean blue, because it has some of the light green in here, kind of tying them all together. And then I wanted to include the lightest, kind of that mint green, the canvas in the minty. You will see those colors in the lightest greens here, and then of course in the lightest print over here. So for background with this, I wouldn't go white because this is a very off-white color. So, but close, I have the spotted white, which has a little bit of taupe in it that works really nicely with it, or the color wash and the texture paper. So it has a little bit of gray, but it blends and kind of seems like it belongs very nicely with it. So this is vitamin C, but let me show you, there is a wide backing that goes with this line. I don't have it with me, but here's the photo, and it is on ombre. So imagine the 3 yards, the 108 inch wide. It starts at the top with the dark, and then it has a gradation into the turquoises, and then it goes back out to dark on the other edge. So you will have this gradation in your fabric, in your backing. It's super cool. So that is, we have that available now, the wide backs and the bundles for vitamin C. Awesome, awesome line. And so now I'm going to show you the other one that is also brand new. There's 12 pieces in vitamin C, but only 10 pieces in this next one, and it's called Morning Light. And we're going to start off with kind of this main print. So it is, we're on land, and this main print is, it's yardage, so we cut it into, in with our bundle because it's not a panel, but it is just this naturescape here with trees. So you have the leaves on top of the trees, has a little ombre effect in the middle, and then like a waterfall on the bottom. So you could use it as is, or I love it when I can cut little pieces or bigger pieces and you get just these different textures from your fabric. So this is one of the main prints. And then we have just, and you'll see now that these are totally very similar colors. So we have a brighter aqua tone here. Love this one because it has just, it almost looks like gold. It's not metallic, but it just has like, it really shines like that morning light, as it's called, of course. We have this one that looks like a stripe, but has all these, it's really the tree trunks, but acts as a stripe, but beautiful textures, as they always do, and just the variety of color. We have this print again in the darker blue with some of the greens coming through. We have a marbling texture, or almost like those ink blot, the watercolor mixtures things, and then just a little bit of bubbles here and there. Love the green mixed with the blue. Then we have these branches on the darkest. So this is the darkest value, really dark navy, and then a lighter blue on top. Still, there's a marbling texture going through, which is really beautiful. And then we have the leaf print. So this you will recognize from the main print, smaller scale, but this is all the leaves on the dark blue background. And then we're going into more of the greens. So you'll see this print here. It's got the large leaves on one side. It's ombreing down into just a texture here. So you would probably read it like this. This is like leaves coming from the ground growing up into this space, this open space here. So you'll see kind of the changes in the pattern. So, but it is a lot of blues on one side and then going into the greens on the other side. So then we have some of the green prints. We have that same leaf print on the green. And then finally, the larger leaf print, more of the multicolor, bringing in the blues, tying them all together, the blues and the greens. So 10 pieces in this one. And I'm going to show you my fabric pull before I show you. There's a wide back with this one too that is beautiful. But I mixed some of the colors. So starting with the darker blues, we have the watercolor texture in the navy, which is a perfect, ties in this dark one with a lighter one. And then also I like this one, the sugar and the bluebell, because it has a little bit of white specked out. It really matches the texture of these guys. And then we have some of the turquoise aqua colors. We have the dimples and the robin's egg. And then the lighter one would be the color wash and the textured sea glass. For the greens, I'd like to have a variety as well. So for the darkest tones of green, I went with a grunge in the holly. And then some of the lighter tones, I love the paint box green for a medium. And then the spotted in the grass has both little dark specks and the lighter specks. For some of the more golden colors, there's this one, color wash, and the textured olive oil has the green and then the gold. And then some for the lightest color, the Toscana and the Buttercup, which is a really nice light blue, a light yellow, but it ties so nicely with some of the yellow tones and the green. So it gives you a nice spectrum. I have one print in 1 yard that is perfect to tie them all together. And this is the Bliss in the Peacock. So it's a beautiful print. It's from the same designers. And it ties all the blues and the greens, and it has gold in it as well. So this would be great for borders, anything like that. If you wanted to do a background, I would probably go off-white, almost a little bit creamy. The watercolor whitewashed is perfect tone for that. And if you wanted to bring in a sharper accent for this one, I would probably go with a charcoal because it reads nicely with this print, but still has contrast from that. But it's not a pure black, so it has a little bit of a more of a blending effect. So this is your morning light, 10 pieces in the line, and then we have this beautiful, beautiful wide back. Look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? So this is like that main print, just on a much larger scale. And I know this one is going to fly out. It's just like having a piece of art on the back of your fabric. So we sell that one in 3 yards and 1 yards. So the 3 yards are 108 by 108, and the 1 yards are 108 by 36. So either way, they are just beautiful. So same designers, Deborah Edwards and Melanie Samra for Northcott. They do a lot of, we always love their stuff. All their stuff sells out really quickly for us. But these are beautiful. And they work together. If you guys want to see them together, I kind of want to show you because it's so cool. So I know people that collect all of their lines because they all work together. So let me show you. I'm just going to pop this one on top here. And you'll be able to see how perfect it would be to work together. Look at that. All of those same tones, the blues, the greens. And then this one. It's just great. So don't be afraid to mix and play. All right. So I wanted to just remind you for tomorrow, Miss Colleen will have a brand new show for you tomorrow morning, 1 Yard Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. And that is, of course, our special 1 yard deal of the week for 1 yards, and always some great tips and ideas. So don't miss our show tomorrow. Nowadays, we don't make any of the special fabrics live in the store until after her show, so you don't have to worry about shopping at the same time. So, and you can always catch the show later by going to the 1 Yard Wednesday page on our website. We'll see the show right there and all the special fabrics that are available under that special. So there are still some good ones from previous shows, but check it out. But next up is our giveaway question. So our giveaway question today, all you got to do is answer in the comments, and you'll automatically be entered for a giveaway for next week, which we'll announce on our Tipsy Tuesday next week. And here's my question. With Mother's Day coming up, what is the most unique Mother's Day gift you have ever given or received? So I had to really think about this one. I don't really remember any unique ones. I mean, I got some really unique ones from the kids.
Why are you looking at me like you ain't my mama?
I got some unique ones from the kids, of course, that they homemade ones.
Like what?
some ceramics and artwork and great cards.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Kobe always gets me a card and some chocolate. That's not very unique, but it's awesome. It's awesome.
He's a puppy.
He's a puppy, yeah. It's really actually pretty awesome that he did that.
How about that?
Yeah. But please send us, just write that out in the comments, and that automatically enters you for a giveaway. We'd love to hear it. And if you haven't received Mother's Day gifts ever, whether you're a mom or not, I think you deserve it. I think everybody deserves it. We all mother people, whether we're male or female. Maybe you're the only parent. Maybe you're not a parent at all. Maybe you have some, animal children or neighbors, nephews, nieces. Maybe you just have some spouses that need some mothering.
What you trying to say?
Nothing. Thank you. All right, well, let's finish it up. Our next show is, of course, this Friday. Our Happy Friday show will be on Friday, May 12th at 12 p.m. Central. It is Margarita Month. Don't miss it. We've got some great things for you on Friday. But our next Tipsy Tuesday, make sure to come back next Tipsy Tuesday. That is May 16th, 4 p.m. Central Time. We'll have lots and lots of great strip twist quilts or blocks to show you, to inspire you to keep quilting, keep it going. But that's it for us tonight. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week and catch Colleen in the morning. But we will see you on Friday. Bye, everybody.